Dolly Parton considered taking her own life. She talks about the moment she received a sign from God while writing her suicide note on a new podcast. Listen.
My little dog, Popeye, at that time, he jumped up on the bed about the time I was writing my, so God, G-O-D, D-O-G, G-O-D, dog, God spelled backwards. So I always thought, that might have been the very thing that
you were writing your suicide note? Or
I was thinking about it.
Wow. You know what this shows me really quick is when you're in depression, sometimes you're like in a hole or it's like this big and people will walk by and say, here's the Bible, or here's a Judaism, or here's this. But like you need someone to get in the hole and say, I know my way out. And the dog, because there was no judgment, got in the hole and touched her in a way that she needed to be touched. I just think it's a really, if you are depressed, dogs, cats, animals, if you can't stand people right now, I get it, but you might want to look into animals. They can reach you in a different way. So I think this is a beautiful story.
And Erica, you have a really touching story.
Yeah, I connect with the story because I think that when someone's very depressed and they're contemplating taking their own lives, they're not receiving communication the same way. And so for this to be probably the first time in a long time that she heard something and it connects so that she received that communication, it may seem silly that it came from a dog, but for some reason that touched her.
Saved her.
Right. And about 10, 12 years ago, I was on a morning radio show in Denver, and I don't really honestly remember, I wish I could, what I said, but I said something, and it was something about like, troubles don't last always. It was like something to that idea. And the next day, a gentleman called and asked to speak to me off air and told me that he had been contemplating suicide for quite some time and he was going to take his life that day. And for some reason, what I said connected with him. And it's a really crazy story because he wasn't even living in the city at the time. And since then, we have connected and I've met him a number of times. And he's an amazing guy. And it was just, and he'll say things like, I've just always remember that day. And so you just never know.
You got in the hole with him.
Yeah.
Honestly, you said, I know, I've been there, and he connected with you. It doesn't have to be speech, it could be a heartbeat, it's anything.
And so to that
Erica.
point, to any of our viewers that feel like that you are alone right now, that feel like that today is unfortunately the day that you no longer want to be here, please know you aren't alone. Please, please, please reach out to any of these free crisis hotline numbers. A number of the people on this panel have been in that hole with you.
Yes, we have.
Know that it doesn't feel like that there's any light at the end of the tunnel, but there is. And please consider this your sign and know that we are here for you.